Ladies and gentlemen, in the fast-paced world we live in, distractions surround us from every direction. From the moment we wake up, notifications flood our phones, demands pull us in multiple directions, and the constant noise of opinions, entertainment, and responsibilities compete for our attention. It becomes almost second nature to move through life reacting to external stimuli rather than being intentional about what we allow into our minds and hearts. In the midst of this overwhelming flood of information, the ability to perceive direction with clarity requires a conscious effort to step away from the noise that drowns out the very guidance we seek. Imagine standing in a crowded marketplace filled with thousands of voices speaking at once. Some are shouting, some are whispering, and others are demanding your immediate attention. If someone were to call your name in the middle of this chaos, would you hear it? Most likely, their voice would be lost in the overwhelming sound of everything else happening around you. However, if you were to move away from the crowd and find a quiet place, even a gentle whisper would be unmistakably clear. This is what happens when we allow too many distractions into our lives. The voice that is meant to guide us does not disappear. It simply gets drowned out by everything else we prioritize above it. The reality is that clarity comes when we make a deliberate choice to step away from distractions. But this is not always easy. Our modern world is designed to keep us constantly stimulated. Whether it is social media, television, conversations, or even our own thoughts, something is always competing for our focus. The habit of filling every quiet moment with noise has become so deeply ingrained that many struggle with stillness, even in moments of waiting, whether in line at a store, riding public transportation, or sitting alone. There is an automatic impulse to grab a phone, turn on music, or find something to occupy the mind. The idea of simply being still feels foreign, but it is in these quiet moments that clarity is most easily found. One of the greatest challenges to hearing clearly is not just external noise, but also internal chatter. Thoughts of doubt, fear, and past experiences often create a mental storm that keeps clarity just out of reach. These thoughts can be so loud that even if guidance is present, it feels distant and impossible to grasp. The mind, when left unchecked, becomes a battlefield of conflicting voices. Some encouraging and others discouraging, some leading in the right direction and others pulling away from it. If there is no intentional effort to quiet the mind, the loudest voice will often be the one rooted in fear, insecurity, or uncertainty. But when a person learns to quiet those inner distractions, they create space for true wisdom to rise to the surface. One of the most effective ways to create clarity is to remove unnecessary input. Imagine filling a glass with water. If that water is constantly mixed with dirt, it will remain cloudy and unclear. But if the dirt is removed and the water is left undisturbed, it becomes crystal clear over time. In the same way, the more unnecessary noise we remove from our lives, the clearer our perception becomes. This could mean taking breaks from social media, setting aside specific times of the day to be free from technology, or even reevaluating the types of conversations and environments we expose ourselves to. When the mind is not constantly occupied with distractions, it has the opportunity to process, reflect, and receive insight that was previously blocked out by unnecessary clutter. There is a profound power in stillness. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history have come in moments of quiet reflection. When an individual steps away from the noise of the world, they gain a deeper awareness of themselves, their purpose, and the guidance that is meant for them. This is why many who seek wisdom often retreat into solitude, not because they are running away from the world, but because they understand that clarity is found when the mind is not constantly bombarded with external influences. But removing distractions is not just about avoiding external noise. It is about making a conscious decision to create an environment that fosters awareness and intentionality. This could be as simple as dedicating time each morning to reflection before the demands of the day begin. It could mean choosing to spend time in nature, where the beauty of creation naturally invites peace and clarity. It could be setting specific moments throughout the day where the mind is given permission to simply be still, free from the expectation of constant input. The more this practice is developed, the easier it becomes to recognize the guidance that has always been there, but was previously overshadowed by the distractions of daily life. One of the most overlooked aspects of creating space for clarity is the influence of the people we surround ourselves with. Conversations shape thoughts, and thoughts shape perception. If we are constantly exposed to negativity, confusion, or voices that pull us away from truth, it becomes significantly harder to hear with clarity. On the other hand, when we choose to be around those who encourage wisdom, peace, and purpose, it becomes easier to discern the right path. This is why it is so important to be mindful of the company we keep and the conversations we engage in. Not every voice deserves access to the deepest parts of our hearts and minds. Some voices bring unnecessary noise, while others bring insight and direction. Learning to distinguish between the two is a vital part of hearing with clarity. It is also essential to recognize that stepping away from distractions does not mean complete isolation. Life is meant to be lived, and relationships, responsibilities, and daily interactions are all a natural part of the journey. The key is balance, knowing when to engage and when to withdraw. There is a time to be active and involved, but there is also a time to step back, reflect, and seek wisdom without interference. When this balance is found, clarity becomes a natural part of daily life rather than something that feels distant or unattainable. Many people spend their lives searching for direction, yet they never take the time to pause and truly listen. They ask for clarity, but remain surrounded by distractions that make it nearly impossible to receive the answers they seek. But for those who choose to step away from the noise, even for just a moment each day, the ability to hear with certainty becomes stronger. The answers that once seemed hidden begin to reveal themselves, and the path that once felt unclear starts to make perfect sense. Ladies and gentlemen, clarity is not about trying to make something louder. It is about removing everything that drowns it out. The wisdom you seek is already present. It has been waiting for you all along. The only question is, are you willing to make room for it? In a world filled with uncertainty, conflicting opinions, and ever-changing standards, finding clarity can feel overwhelming. Every day, people are bombarded with messages that shape their perception, some true, some misleading, and many designed to confuse rather than enlighten. With so many voices competing for attention, how can one distinguish between what is real and what is merely an illusion? The answer lies in a simple yet profound principle: aligning with truth. Truth is like a solid foundation. When life is built upon it, there is strength, stability, and confidence. But when life is built on half-truths, assumptions, or popular opinions that shift like sand, uncertainty follows. The struggle many face today is not a lack of information, but a lack of discernment, an inability to distinguish between truth and deception. In order to hear with clarity, one must first make the conscious choice to seek truth above all else, even when it is uncomfortable, challenging, or goes against personal preferences. Alignment with truth requires a willingness to let go of anything that is false. Many people struggle with confusion because they have unknowingly embraced beliefs, ideas, or influences that are not rooted in reality. These falsehoods may come from societal pressures, personal fears, or even past experiences that have shaped a distorted view of life. But just as a misaligned compass will always lead in the wrong direction, a heart and mind not aligned with truth will always struggle to find clarity. One of the most important steps in aligning with truth is developing the ability to question and examine what has been accepted as reality. Not everything that is widely believed is true. Not every voice that speaks with confidence is correct. Many live their lives based on assumptions passed down to them without ever taking the time to investigate whether these beliefs are truly aligned with wisdom. Seeking truth means being willing to ask deep questions, challenge preconceptions, and seek answers beyond what is convenient or comfortable. Truth is not always easy to accept. Sometimes it reveals things that require change, and change is often difficult. But ignoring truth does not make it disappear. It only prolongs the struggle. Imagine a person who refuses to acknowledge that a bridge is broken and tries to cross it anyway. Their refusal to accept reality does not make the bridge whole. It only leads to unnecessary hardship. In the same way, resisting truth does not prevent consequences. It only delays the ability to move forward with clarity and purpose. Aligning with truth requires humility. It takes courage to admit when an idea, belief, or way of thinking has been incorrect. Many people hold on to falsehoods simply because letting go of them would mean admitting they were wrong. But true wisdom comes from the ability to adjust when new understanding is revealed. Growth is impossible without the willingness to change, and clarity is impossible without the commitment to seek what is real, even when it challenges existing perspectives. One of the greatest indicators of truth is consistency. Truth does not change based on emotions, trends, or popular opinion. It remains steady, regardless of circumstance. Feelings, on the other hand, fluctuate. One moment they can lead in one direction, and the next they can pull in another. While emotions are valuable and should not be ignored, they should never be the foundation upon which decisions are made. When seeking truth, it is essential to look beyond temporary feelings and focus on what remains firm and unshaken. Surrounding oneself with truth seekers is another powerful way to stay aligned. The company a person keeps has a profound influence on their perception of reality. If one constantly surrounds themselves with people who value wisdom, integrity, and deep understanding, they are more likely to stay on the right path. However, if they are constantly exposed to deception, manipulation, or shallow thinking, they will eventually begin to adopt the same mindset. Choosing relationships that challenge, encourage, and uplift in truth is one of the most effective ways to maintain alignment with what is real. Aligning with truth also requires discernment in what is consumed daily. The mind is shaped by what it repeatedly engages with. If one constantly fills their thoughts with entertainment, media, or conversations that distort reality, their perception will naturally become clouded. But when time is spent engaging with knowledge, wisdom, and insight, clarity begins to grow. The more truth is embraced, the more easily deception is recognized. Patience is essential in the pursuit of truth. Not all answers come immediately, and not all paths are revealed at once, but those who commit to walking in truth, no matter how long it takes, will always find themselves on solid ground. There will be moments of doubt, moments where the easy path of falsehood seems more appealing, but choosing truth, even when difficult, always leads to the right destination. Ladies and gentlemen, when life is aligned with truth, there is confidence, direction, and peace. Clarity is not a mystery reserved for a select few. It is available to all who are willing to seek what is real, embrace it fully, and walk in it boldly. The path to wisdom begins with a single decision: to align with truth, no matter the cost. When that decision is made, the ability to hear with certainty becomes second nature. The answers you seek have always been there. You simply need to align yourself with the truth that reveals them. Ladies and gentlemen, truth is a foundation that never crumbles, a light that never fades, and a compass that always points in the right direction. Yet, in a world filled with distractions, misinformation, and conflicting voices, aligning with truth is not always easy. Many search for clarity but struggle to find it because they have unknowingly built their lives around half-truths, assumptions, and illusions. To hear with certainty and walk with confidence, one must make a deliberate effort to align with truth in every aspect of life. Truth is not something that adjusts to personal desires or emotions. Rather, it is a constant that exists beyond personal perception. It remains steady, regardless of opinions or circumstances. This is why it is so important to seek truth above all else, even when it is uncomfortable. Many people prefer to hold on to convenient falsehoods because truth often requires change. However, avoiding truth does not protect a person from its consequences. It only delays the inevitable. The sooner one embraces what is real, the sooner they can walk with clarity and direction. Aligning with truth begins with self-reflection. It requires asking deep questions about what one believes, why they believe it, and whether it is truly aligned with wisdom. Many people adopt ideas simply because they were taught them from a young age or because they are popular in society. However, just because something is widely accepted does not make it true. Seeking truth means being willing to question even the deepest held beliefs, and being open to change if those beliefs are found to be misguided. One of the most significant barriers to truth is personal bias. Every person sees the world through the lens of their experiences, emotions, and upbringing. These filters can sometimes distort reality, causing people to see what they want to see rather than what is actually there. To truly align with truth, one must be willing to set aside personal biases and approach life with a heart that is open to learning. This requires humility, the ability to admit when one is wrong, and the willingness to grow in understanding. Those who cling to their own perspectives without ever questioning them will struggle to find clarity. But those who are willing to listen, learn, and adjust will always be one step closer to truth. The pursuit of truth also requires discernment. In an age where information is easily accessible, not everything that is presented as truth is actually valid. Many voices claim to have the answers, but not all of them lead to wisdom. This is why it is so important to develop the ability to separate fact from fiction, wisdom from deception, and insight from mere opinion. A discerning person does not accept everything at face value, but instead evaluates and tests what they hear before embracing it as truth. Surrounding oneself with truth seekers is another powerful way to stay aligned. The people we engage with daily have a profound influence on our thoughts, beliefs, and decisions. If we surround ourselves with those who prioritize truth, wisdom, and integrity, we are more likely to stay on the right path. However, if we constantly engage with those who promote deception, negativity, or shallow thinking, we will inevitably begin to absorb those same qualities. Choosing to build relationships with people who challenge, encourage, and inspire us in the pursuit of truth is one of the most effective ways to maintain clarity. Truth is not just about knowledge, it is also about action. Many people recognize truth but fail to align their lives with it. They may understand what is right but still choose the easier path of compromise. However, true clarity comes only when one fully commits to living by truth, not just acknowledging it. This means making decisions based on what is right rather than what is convenient. It means standing firm even when others choose to follow deception. It means refusing to compromise values for the sake of acceptance or temporary comfort. When a person lives in alignment with truth, they develop an unshakable confidence because they know they are standing on solid ground. Aligning with truth also brings freedom. Deception creates confusion, fear, and instability, but truth brings clarity, peace, and certainty. Many people live in a constant state of anxiety because they are trying to hold on to falsehoods that do not support them. But the moment they let go of what is not real and embrace truth, a weight is lifted. They no longer have to pretend, guess, or struggle to maintain illusions. Truth allows them to live with authenticity and purpose. It is important to recognize that seeking truth is not a one-time event, but an ongoing journey. Life constantly presents new challenges, perspectives, and experiences that require continuous growth. Those who remain committed to truth will always be refining their understanding, deepening their wisdom, and strengthening their ability to hear with clarity. The pursuit of truth is not about reaching a final destination, but about continuously aligning oneself with what is real and unchanging. Ladies and gentlemen, when you align with truth, you no longer have to second guess your path. You no longer have to wonder if you are making the right decisions. You no longer have to feel lost in a world of confusion. Truth becomes your foundation, your guide, and your greatest source of confidence. The answers you seek have always been there, waiting for you to open your heart, clear away the distractions, and fully align with what is real. Make the choice today to pursue truth with all your heart, and you will never walk in darkness. Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that constantly demands attention with loud voices, urgent distractions, and overwhelming noise, it is easy to overlook the small whispers that carry the most profound wisdom. Many people search for guidance in dramatic signs, expecting clarity to arrive with undeniable force. However, the clearest direction often comes not in the roar of the storm, but in the stillness that follows. Trusting the small whispers requires sensitivity, patience, and an openness to recognizing truth in its quietest form. Whispers are often drowned out by the noise of life. From the moment we wake up, we are surrounded by external influences: news, social media, responsibilities, and the expectations of others. The world teaches us to value what is loud, urgent, and attention-grabbing. However, true clarity is rarely found in the chaos. It is found in moments of stillness, when the noise fades and the heart is receptive. Many people struggle to find direction because they are waiting for a dramatic revelation while ignoring the quiet voice that has been speaking all along. Trusting small whispers requires a shift in focus. Instead of constantly seeking external validation, one must learn to listen inwardly. This means becoming aware of the subtle nudges, gentle impressions, and quiet convictions that guide in the right direction. Often, people second-guess these whispers, dismissing them as random thoughts or coincidences. But those who have learned to trust them understand that true wisdom does not always announce itself with force. It often arrives as a gentle prompting, waiting to be acknowledged. One of the reasons whispers are so powerful is that they speak directly to the heart. Unlike external voices that can be manipulated or influenced by circumstances, these quiet messages remain steady. They do not pressure, they do not demand, and they do not create confusion. Instead, they provide a deep sense of peace and certainty, even when they challenge comfort or require difficult decisions. Learning to trust these whispers means recognizing that true wisdom is not about volume, but about consistency and inner confirmation. Fear and doubt are the greatest enemies of trusting small whispers. Many people hesitate to follow these quiet prompts because they fear making a mistake. They wonder, what if I'm wrong? What if I misinterpret what I'm feeling? But wisdom does not lead with fear, it leads with assurance. When a small whisper brings clarity, peace, and alignment with truth, it is meant to be trusted. Fear tries to create hesitation, but courage is required to follow what is right, even when it does not come with loud, dramatic confirmation. Patience is another key aspect of trusting whispers. Many people want immediate answers, expecting guidance to arrive in clear, unmistakable ways. But true wisdom often unfolds gradually. The small whispers may not reveal the full picture all at once, but they provide just enough direction to take the next step. It is like walking through fog. Each step forward reveals a little more of the path, but the journey requires trust. Those who are willing to follow each gentle prompting, even when the full destination is unknown, will always find themselves moving in the right direction. Recognizing the difference between true whispers and mere distractions requires discernment. Not every thought, impression, or feeling is a whisper of wisdom. Some are simply noise, emotions, or personal desires. The best way to distinguish them is by observing their nature. True wisdom does not bring confusion, restlessness, or contradiction. It aligns with truth, brings peace, and remains steady over time. Distractions, on the other hand, create uncertainty, impatience, and instability. Learning to differentiate between these two is essential in trusting the right whispers. Creating space for stillness is one of the most effective ways to hear small whispers more clearly. Life is filled with constant activity, and if one never takes the time to be still, they will miss the quiet voice that is always present. Taking intentional moments to step away from distractions, reflect, and listen inwardly allows wisdom to be recognized. This does not always mean complete silence. It can be found in peaceful walks, quiet moments in nature, or even brief pauses in the middle of a busy day. The key is to cultivate awareness, training the heart and mind to recognize whispers even in the midst of life's movement. Trusting small whispers also requires action. Many people hear guidance but hesitate to follow it because they are waiting for a bigger confirmation. But whispers are not meant to be ignored, they are meant to be acted upon. When a quiet prompting aligns with truth, brings peace, and remains consistent, it is a sign to move forward. Clarity often comes not before action, but as a result of it. The more one learns to trust and respond to these whispers, the stronger the ability to recognize them becomes. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest wisdom is often found in the smallest whispers. They do not compete for attention. They do not force themselves upon us, but they are always there, waiting to be heard. The challenge is not whether guidance exists. It is whether we are willing to listen and trust. When we learn to quiet the noise, shift our focus, and embrace the stillness, the whispers become unmistakable. The direction we seek has always been present. It is simply a matter of tuning in and having the courage to follow where it leads. Ladies and gentlemen, in a world that moves at an unrelenting pace, where instant results are expected and delays are seen as failures, patience and persistence have become rare virtues. Many seek clarity, direction, and understanding, but few are willing to endure the process required to attain them. They expect answers immediately, breakthroughs without struggle, and wisdom without time. However, the deepest insights and the clearest guidance often come not in a moment, but over a journey, one that requires unwavering patience and relentless persistence. Patience is not passive waiting. It is an active state of trust. It is the ability to hold on, even when the answers are not immediate, to keep moving forward, even when the way is unclear. Too often, people give up too soon, abandoning the pursuit of truth because it does not come as quickly as they would like. But the reality is that wisdom is not something to be rushed. It unfolds in its own time, revealing itself layer by layer, step by step. Those who lack patience may miss it entirely because they are too focused on speed rather than depth. There will be moments when frustration sets in, when clarity seems distant and doubts begin to creep in. The temptation to walk away, to settle for lesser answers, or to force a solution will be strong. But persistence is what separates those who truly find direction from those who remain lost. It is the commitment to keep going, to keep seeking, even when the journey is difficult. Just as a tree does not grow strong overnight, wisdom and clarity require time to take root. The most significant breakthroughs come to those who refuse to quit. And one of the greatest challenges to patience is uncertainty. When people do not see immediate progress, they assume nothing is happening. But growth is often invisible before it becomes evident. Consider a seed planted in the ground. It does not sprout instantly. Days, weeks, even months may pass before anything appears above the surface. Yet beneath the soil, roots are growing. Foundations are being established. The same principle applies to wisdom and understanding. Just because results are not visible does not mean progress is not being made. Many people make the mistake of comparing their journey to others. They see someone else receiving clarity, making progress, or achieving success, and they wonder why they are still struggling. But wisdom does not operate on a fixed timeline. Each person's path is unique, and comparing one's progress to another's only creates unnecessary discouragement. The key is to remain focused on one's own journey, trusting that clarity will come at the right time and in the right way. Persistence also requires resilience. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. There will be times when nothing seems to be working, when every effort feels futile. But giving up is never the answer. Those who press forward despite the difficulties are the ones who eventually find what they are looking for. Every great discovery, every significant breakthrough has come because someone refused to stop searching. They kept knocking, kept asking, kept moving forward, even when the process was long and difficult. A major part of patience and persistence is learning to trust the process. It is easy to become discouraged when things do not happen according to personal expectations. But wisdom is not bound by human timelines. It comes when the heart is truly ready to receive it. Sometimes delays are not obstacles, but preparation. Moments designed to strengthen, refine, and develop the character needed to handle the clarity that is coming. Impatience can cause people to rush ahead unprepared. But patience ensures that when the right moment arrives, they are ready. Another important aspect of persistence is consistency. Many people seek clarity in moments of desperation, but neglect the discipline of daily seeking. They expect sudden revelations, but fail to nurture the habits that create an environment for wisdom to flourish. Just as physical strength is built through consistent effort, the ability to recognize and understand truth grows through persistent pursuit. The more one engages with wisdom, the more natural it becomes to hear and respond with confidence. Waiting is never easy, especially when urgency is felt. But waiting is not wasted time. It is the refining process that strengthens trust, deepens understanding, and prepares the heart for what is to come. Clarity is not something to be demanded, but something to be discovered. And that discovery often requires more time than expected. Those who rush ahead without waiting often find themselves lost, but those who trust the timing of wisdom will always find themselves exactly where they need to be. Ladies and gentlemen, patience and persistence are the keys to unlocking clarity and direction. Answers will not always come immediately, and the journey will not always be smooth. But those who are willing to endure the process, to keep seeking despite the delays, will always find what they are looking for. The greatest wisdom does not come to those who demand it. It comes to those who are willing to wait, to trust, and to persist. Stay patient. Stay persistent. The answers you seek are already on their way. Ladies and gentlemen, fear is a powerful force. It can paralyze, limit, and cloud judgment. It whispers doubts, raises insecurities, and convinces people to stay within the boundaries of comfort rather than step into the unknown. Many seek clarity, yet hesitate to move forward because fear grips them, making them question every decision. But true wisdom does not operate in fear. It calls for faith. To walk in faith rather than fear is to trust even when the path is uncertain, to move forward even when doubts arise, and to believe in what is unseen rather than be controlled by what is known. Fear thrives in uncertainty. It feeds on the unknown, creating endless what-ifs that convince people to hesitate. What if the wrong decision is made? What if failure happens? What if things don't go as expected? These questions can trap a person in endless cycles of indecision. But faith is the opposite. Faith does not demand a perfect understanding of the future. It requires trust in the process. It does not mean ignoring reality, but choosing to believe that there is a purpose beyond what is immediately visible. Many people wait until they feel completely certain before taking a step forward. They believe that clarity must come before action. However, faith does not work that way. Often the clearest direction comes only after movement begins. Those who insist on waiting until all fear is gone may never move at all. Walking in faith means stepping forward despite the fear, despite the uncertainty, and despite the lack of full understanding. It is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear dictate decisions. Fear limits possibilities while faith opens doors. When people allow fear to control them, they stay confined to what feels safe, avoiding risks and missing opportunities. But faith expands vision. It allows people to see beyond obstacles, beyond limitations, and beyond their current reality. It removes the mental barriers that say, this is impossible or I am not capable, and replaces them with the courage to pursue what is truly possible. Those who choose faith over fear are the ones who achieve what others believe cannot be done. One of the greatest struggles people face is fear of failure. The thought of making mistakes, experiencing setbacks, or facing rejection can be overwhelming. But failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every discovery has been preceded by setbacks. Those who succeed are not those who never fail, but those who refuse to let failure stop them. Walking in faith means understanding that every step, even the missteps, contribute to growth. It is trusting that mistakes are not the end, but part of the learning process. Walking in faith also means trusting timing. Fear demands immediate answers, quick results, and instant gratification. It breeds impatience, causing people to act out of panic rather than wisdom. Faith, however, understands that timing is not always in our control. It requires patience, a willingness to wait for the right moment, and an understanding that delays do not mean denial. Those who walk in faith do not force things to happen before their time. They trust that what is meant to unfold will happen at the right time. Another aspect of faith is perseverance. Life is full of obstacles, and fear often magnifies them, making them seem impossible to overcome. But faith gives the strength to keep going, to push forward despite difficulties. It does not guarantee an easy journey, but it promises that persistence will always lead to progress. Fear says give up when it gets hard. Faith says keep going because something greater is ahead. Fear creates confusion, but faith brings clarity. Many times people hesitate because they feel uncertain, unsure of what to do, but fear thrives in overthinking and analyzing every detail until doubt takes over. Faith, however, simplifies. It allows people to trust their instincts, to follow truth without second-guessing every step. It removes the mental fog and provides confidence to act with certainty. Fear weakens, but faith strengthens. Fear drains energy, creating stress and anxiety. It causes hesitation and leaves people feeling powerless. But faith empowers. It fills a person with courage, resilience, and the ability to stand firm even when challenges arise. Those who walk in faith experience a different kind of strength, one that is not based on external circumstances, but on an inner assurance that they are on the right path. Ladies and gentlemen, walking in faith does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending fear does not exist. It means refusing to let fear control decisions. It means choosing courage over comfort, trust over doubt, and action over hesitation. Fear will always try to hold you back, but faith will always lead you forward. The path to wisdom, growth, and success is not found in fear. It is found in the unwavering decision to walk forward, even when the way is not fully clear. Step out in faith, and you will discover that the clarity you seek has been waiting for you all along.